Hi Anne-Marie, it's Trudy, looking at your stop-start feedback on the very first video. I have asked you, in response to you telling me your verbal cues, to ask you what your physical cues are, because you'll see quite quickly from how we begin this feedback that there's a lot of other things going on just other than vocal. Now, it isn't unusual for people to think that the cue that they use is one thing, and then when they look at what they actually use, it's something quite different. And I think that's something you're going to find out during this feedback. So I hope it will be useful, even if it's just from that point of view, that it gets you thinking a bit about the cues and aids that you use. So first of all, I love how calm and sensible she is. She stands while you gather yourself together. That's really good. So some very positive things, I feel. I see you carry the reins nicely. I like the way that your left hand is placed. That's really super. If I was going to say anything about your posture, I'd like you to lift up through your core a little bit. Tuck your bottom underneath you and relax a little bit more. Yeah, feel that you're in a position when you're walking and standing around her that you can maintain comfortably all the time. And if that is how you're stood, that's absolutely fine. Physically, we're all different, and the older we get, the harder it is to do some things. So the way I work is always to make it as comfortable for the student, the horse and the student as possible. Okay, so I'm going to play your video a few seconds and do a little bit of unpicking to show you what your cues actually are. So here we go.
Yeah. Walk across the centre line, come down, and then change sides.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Walk on. Walk on.
Okay, so I think it was quite clear from there, and I'm going to play it again for you after I've spoken about it. But the walk on was actually the very last element of the cue. There was a little bit of rein fiddling, and you were getting yourself ready to go. I understand that, and that's absolutely fine. But there was a little bit of rein fiddling, and then you thought she's not moving forward, so you thought I'll go, and off you went, and then you said walk on. So in actual fact, what she's picking up on is you moving forwards. This isn't at all unusual. Horses, when they're in herds together, if you look at them, they constantly watch each other. One moves, the other moves. They have this little ability to communicate very subtly without very much happening. So I'm going to play that again for you so that you can see what you actually cued.
Yeah.
So here we have a little bit of rein action. And then we fiddle a bit more, get the reins right. Lovely position. And then you moved, and then you said walk on. I'll play that last bit again for you.
Walk on.
Yeah, so it's very clear that you walked on before you said walk on. So I think I could quite clearly say there that your cue to walk on is actually you moving your feet. It might be fiddle a bit with the rein, walk on, and then say walk on. The one thing with cues that you need to be is clear, really, really clear. So what I'd like you to do is to make that as clear as you can, and part of the feedback from this is going to involve that. So let's carry on watching. I love her. I'm considering the ground conditions. I love her walk there. She's looking a little to the outside, and you can see that particularly where I've stopped the video here. Her nose is looking a little to the outside of the fence. So in time, I'd like to work on that with you and get you to bring her to look a little more towards you. But I really like it. Your positioning is super, and in a way, your position is slightly encouraging her out because you have a little bit more through your left rein and your right hand is going out towards her. So it's encouraging her a little to look to the outside. In dressage tones, we're always thinking of just, even on a straight line, just the merest hint of inside bend. But I like what I'm seeing there. It's really nice. And another thing you're doing as well, which I like, is you're saying walk on in a really nice clear voice. So while you don't particularly use that as your cue to walk on from halt, it is handy to keep putting it in while she's walking so that she starts to associate walking and you saying walk on. So it is going to be something we will use going forwards. This is very nice here. She's got a bit of a twitchy lip there. I don't know whether this is something she always does or whether she's a little bit nervous out in the school working. A lot of horses can show these little signs when they're a little bit nervous away from their friends. You know, if she's used to being on the yard with the other horses or in the field with the other horses and then she comes away. They're just little signs. Sometimes you see a tense eye or a tight muzzle or that little flicker of the lip like she's doing there. But she's doing really well, and I like the walk. It's a bold walk, and I'd be marking this as an 8.5. It's really super. Okay, so I don't know about you, but I was a bit surprised about that. I wasn't expecting that halt to come at that time. I will show it again in a moment so that we can go through it. But I think it was a little bit of a shock to her as well. So I think we need to think about how that cue works. So let's go back and watch that again. Okay, so Anne-Marie, your cue to stop, I know you've told me, is stand. And I'm not letting you have any more guesses as to where the stand comes in the line of communication there. Yeah, it's absolutely right at the end when you've done everything else. So your stand cue is probably when you stop moving your feet, because I think you used the rein earlier than that and it didn't really work. So I think you stopping, then a bit of rein, and then eventually stand is your cue. So again, it's quite a messy cue. There's quite a lot going on there. And for me, I like the horse to go from my voice, but if I'm going to use physical cues, I want them to stop from a very light feel in the rein, because then when I'm riding, that's great. You know, that's what I need. I need to have that feel in the rein. If I need to stop at a road or, you know, just for practical reasons, forget riding a dressage test. So I'm going to play that again just so you can be sure to know what order it came in. So let's break it down. Okay, so yeah, I think there might have been a verbal one somewhere in the middle of you stopping your own feet moving, but generally speaking, it's quite a mush. But on the positive side, she did stop, but can you see how in you having to use the rein, you're drawing her forehand towards you? You can see where you're stood here that she's brought the forehand in towards you, which would tend to flick the quarters out. Now, I've seen this in your tests, and I think that's one thing we really need to work on is your stop. So again, we'll have a look at that at the end.
Now do another walk and halt.
Okay, again, I think you can tell on that one, off you went, a little bit of movement with the feet, move your rein, and then you told her to walk on.
And halt. And then walk on.
So I'm going to look at that one again, because I think you're getting a bit more in tune with her now. Let's have a little look.
And halt.
Okay, now you got that one perfectly right. You did stand, but she didn't take any notice. She rode straight through you. So I love that you've only had one halt so far, and I love that you're already getting into being with her and trying to use the aids that you think you use. Unfortunately, I don't think they work that well yet, so she got quite ahead of you in that transition.
Yeah.
And again, that was a bit better. Let's have a look again at that one.
Yeah.
That one was more a little feel with the rein and then say walk on, and then move my feet. So the whole combination. So I'm guessing she's really quite quick, and she just picks up on all these lovely things that you do, and she will be very easy for you to train. All right, let's have a look again and carry on.
And then I would halt.
Handstand.
And then I would swap sides.
Okay, that was really nice. Much better than the earlier one. You two are tuning in together better. But again, I don't think the cue is what you think it is. So it's just good for me to be able to see this. So I'm going to, the next part of the module I design will be specifically to get you involved in planning your cues and using much lighter cues that she actually understands. Great, so now we're going to swap sides. She's very calm. This is lovely, really nice. But again, the mouth is a little bit twitchy, so that could just be her, that it's a bit of a habit with her. But I love how calmly she's standing. It's fantastic. And the video is super clear.
This time, go to A and turn left.
Walk on.
Okay, I like that. I thought it was really nice, and if you could work like this, I think we're really going to get somewhere, Anne-Marie. It's still not quite in the right order. Let's have a listen. Oh, sorry, I didn't take that back far enough. Let's go a bit further back.
This time, go to A and turn left.
Walk on.
Yeah, good. So that time you tied everything a little bit closer together, and the cue became a little bit of the hand, walk on and move your feet all at the same time. But you know, I can really see you're both going to be very trainable.
And then halt. And walk up.
Good. Again, for one, I really liked the turn. That was super. I'd like her to have been a bit slower through the turn for you, and you could just have some little half halts with the reins. But I really like that. That is not a problem at all there in the turn. But in your halt, again, there was a bit of a mishmash of things going on. So there's a bit of rein, there's a bit of voice, there's your feet stopping. But you got a stop, and I think it was a tidier one than earlier. Now that was better, much better again. That's like last one. Let's go back and have a quick look at that one for you. Let's make sure.
And walk up.
Yeah, good. Again, so now you're tuning in. Now this is something that horses do. They're very good at working at something that they understand. It's really nice for them to know what the game is and to get on with it. And I think she's worked out, oh, this is just a thing where we're going to stop. And so, you know, she's really picking up on things. She's learning through repetition, which is a great thing and something that horses are really good at. So that was a much better one. She's tuned into you a lot more, Anne-Marie, and that's really nice to see.
And then halt.
Stand.
Okay, and again, I think you can see that she's not really listening to just your voice. She was quite heavy on your hand there, and you can see where I stopped it. She's got her mouth open, a bit uncomfortable in her mouth. So again, I think this easy to work on some things there that are going to make a big difference. Let's see you
And walk up.
continue. Again, she looks a little to the outside of the
Turn sort of left.
arena, which we will work on, but that's not a big problem at the moment. Yeah, you both look more comfortable. And again, she sort of hollowed and lifted her head up in the halt, but she was fairly responsive to you. Okay, that last one, it's interesting, and I've noticed this in your tests as well, that when you haven't got the fence right by you, stopping's quite hard for her. So we're not going to get the fence away from her too soon, because it does help her keep her straightness, it keeps her calm, and it's a lot easier for you to deal with. So I'm going to hold that video there, and I'm going to upload this to YouTube, and then I will formulate a module for you to work through now that I've seen exactly how things work for you. There's lots to like, and I think we can really tidy some things up for you.